All right, we are back with the Water Saga. No, I called it that to my wife and she got really mad at me. Turns out it's the Storm Saga. I'm messing with you all. It's the Ocean Saga. I think I got that right. It took me so long to get that right. Like, legitimately. Okay, I don't want to stall anymore, though. Fantasy author, 7 books under my belt. New one coming in a couple of months. Stay tuned if you want to figure that out. Idea to this whole series goes out to Beck Leavesley for doing a fantasy author reacts thing. So smart. I love it. I don't want to put this off anymore. I'm so freaking excited. We're going to get into Storm from the Ocean Saga for Epic. Watch my other 2 videos if you haven't yet, or just chill and we will figure this out together. Last that happened, Athena just said goodbye, and the Cyclops killed Polites and a bunch of Odysseus' men. I'm not sure how many. If you know, let me know in the comments below. Who am I kidding? Of course you know. You all know everything. I could be like, hey, what's this random note, and play a singular note from a song, and I guarantee like 90 of you would be like, oh, here's the song, and here's the timestamp, and here's 10 facts about that song. Okay, anyway, I love it. I'm getting into this. Are they being attacked? Pirates? Oh, no, it's all just them. Okay. Have grown in strength and size. Is it nature or divine or a blessing in disguise? Okay, so let's break that down. These waves and tides have grown in strength and size. I think so. Storms, a lot of times in writing, are used metaphorically. It's used to represent like turmoil and a dark time in someone's life. And that's exactly what Odysseus is going through right now. He lost his best friend and he lost his divine mentor. Both of those, one after another, rapid fire. And now he's in a storm. I don't think that's any coincidence at all. And I'm guessing we're going to get a bunch of metaphorical language that's going to be foreshadowing a whole crap ton. That's just my guess. What else did he say? Is it nature or divine? It's interesting that he goes wondering if it's divine when he just lost Athena. It's something that's harsh and against him, but he isn't above thinking that it could still be divine intervention. And maybe it is. Maybe it's Poseidon. But either way, the storms aren't being nice to him, and I think this is metaphorical for his current mental state. Or a blessing in disguise. Okay. Our homes inside. This storm's our final fight. There's no time. Yeah, doubting that. 9 sagas. No, this is not your final fight. That's a bit of meta knowledge, so that's cheating. But I don't know what happens, but I guarantee they're not almost home. But he thinks they are, and that's what matters narratively. So what do we know about Odysseus? He's self-serving and self-aggrandizing, but deeply passionate and cares about his men. But after having lost Polites and who's the goddess? Athena. I think that we're going to see him harden during the course of the song as the storm intensifies. If it is metaphorical. And I could just be a pretentious jerk, and maybe it's not metaphorical at all. I have a hunch that it is, though. Oh, that doesn't bode well for them. There's no time to die, right when he's saying all these things that seem very ironic. Okay, a little bit of a red flag there. Okay. Brace for a storm, so it's coming still. So brace for a storm, the likes of which we've never seen before. They are not talking about just this actual, like, literal storm. They've gone through trials already, and I think this is a little flashlight on, or a highlighter, I don't know what you want to call it, on the fact that they're about to go through a whole bunch of crap. I don't know what that's going to be, but it's unlike anything that they've seen before. I think he's going to lose more men, because he said this is no time to die immediately before he talks about this being unlike anything he's seen before. But it could be more internal. Because storm as a concept feels very internal. So maybe his men will be fine. His men will be fine. That's my guess. With home so close, we must keep pushing forward. Full speed ahead. Oh. Okay, so there's some characterization. He's going into a storm he knows is worse than anything he's seen before, and he still wants to go full speed ahead, which is a callback to the last song, Full Speed Ahead. Not last song, but previous song, Full Speed Ahead. He's being reckless, just like Athena accused him of. He is being reckless. He's less calculated than we've seen him. His answer to "there's a storm" is "let's sail harder." And that's very... in some ways, that's unlike Odysseus, and in other ways, that's just like him. With home so close, we must keep pushing forward. Full speed ahead. Towards the island, but avoid the crashing waves. Okay. Where the tide is flat, and then you will be safe. So there's this interesting contrast. We see that he's still the same Odysseus. He still has that analytical side to him, where when Odysseus is faced with a challenge, Odysseus strategizes, whether he knows he's doing it or not. Here, he obviously knows he's doing it. He's faced with a challenge, just like when he was faced with the Cyclops, which was like a first little storm compared to what I think is coming. He immediately came up with a plan, and right now we see him coming up with that plan again. But this one feels less sound. He's not making it by consulting the others. He's just saying, this is what we're doing, when all the evidence seems to be pointing to the contrary, that this is unlike anything they've seen before, but home is so close. He's so desperate for that thing that he's been fighting for these 10 songs that he doesn't care. He just wants to get home. He wants to power through the storm. I have a thought that might be a little pretentious and metaphorical, so I'm going to hold on to it. I'll say it at the end of the song if it still holds up. I want to just make sure I'm right. Captain, we will capsize with these waves, our fleet will fail. Have them follow my ship, all ensure that we prevail. Oh, that's an interesting callback to Full Speed Ahead, where in Full Speed Ahead we got Eurylochus and Polites giving their own opinions on what to do in terms of the island with the fire and no smoke, the Lotus Island, I don't know what you call it. But here we see Eurylochus bring up an objection, bring up a concern, and Odysseus's response isn't to hear him out. It's just to say, I've got it, trust me. He's becoming more self-centered. He's becoming more isolated. Okay. Yeah, and there he explicitly has Eurylochus, who we know isn't afraid to just rush in when the time's right. Like, he wasn't afraid to do that with the Lotus Island. But here, he's telling Odysseus flat out, we are not okay. We can't keep going. And Odysseus is just saying, tough. Like, that's what we're going to do. Oh! Is that a floating island? Floating islands are my favorite trope. I love floating islands so much in any context. I have a floating island in my book. All my book series takes place on this floating island called Amora, and I could vent about it, or I could rant about it for a long time. I'm going to say that for a video that's about me, not about this amazing musical. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I love it. I don't know anything about it, and I love it. You really just grab the harpoons, as many as you can find. What do you have in mind? What does he have in mind? Shoot for the sky. What? What is my question too? Because I don't know, is he trying to tear it down or trying to go up? Either way feels symbolic, because he just lost his divine mentor. A floating island feels very divine. And either he's trying to pull the gods to his level or he's trying to ascend to them. And either way, that's very telling of his mental state. And before, his plan was very measured of, we're going to go in there, give us a certain amount of time, and if we're not back, then you all storm and burn, or storm the island and burn everything to the ground. Here he's just saying, let's shoot this island through the storm, and we'll see what happens. I don't, huh.
Everyone grab a harpoon and aim it high. We're shooting for the island in the sky. In the sky.
Island in the sky. He's trying to get through his grief by reaching the gods, which is I assume is what that island is. That's what I think this song is about. This is the comment I said was pretentious, so brace yourself. I think that this is a song about his grief and his trauma that he just went through and that he's gone through for the last 10 years. How it's hardened him, how it's changed him, how, or I don't know if changed is the right word, but how he's changing. He's taken so much on in his life that everyone can see he's not okay. He can't continue anymore. But he isn't having the self-awareness. He doesn't have the capacity to recognize that and stop and take care of himself and reassess. He's pushing harder, and that's going to lead to a breaking point. And I think that's what Storm is trying to say. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I feel like narratively, storms are just such a metaphorical and powerful thing, like this unstoppable thing, that the fact that he thinks he can beat it just feels like this narrative of, we have a man who's been losing everything, who just wants to get home, and he's in mourning, and he feels like if he just tries harder, that the grief will go away, and that his storm will go away. He can get through it. But I'm suspecting that that's really going to backfire on him, and that the narrative is going to say, no, that's not how grief works. And I think he's going to carry this grief with him forever. He talked about how, when he was talking to Athena, about how the he can't, something about not being able to sleep again without seeing them. Next song, I accidentally started reacting to Keep Your Friends Close. I got about 20 seconds into it, and then I realized I was missing a song on my list. So if there's a weird jump, this is why. We are on Luck Runs Out. I'm watching this animatic by Crashite. And let's see what happens. I'm a little bit thrown off because I was expecting Keep Your Friends Close, but we're going to go with it. We're going to go with it. Okay. So he's climbing.
You're about to do what I think you'll do.
You've heard the legends of the island in the sky. This proves they're true.
He's going off of legends.
We're in the home of the wind god.
He doesn't know that though.
For sure.
Yeah. He's so self-confident. Like he's not weighing out his different options like he was in the previous songs. He's been changed by Athena leaving him, and he's been changed by he's been changed by Polites dying and his men.
Any floating islands have you seen before?
Fair point.
This is the home of the wind god.
And what's your plan?
I'm gonna climb to the top and ask him for a hand.
Why would he help him?
Be caught off guard.
He could moose his life. That's a good point. So this is interesting. He's escaping his grief by trying to climb to the gods, trying to be an island. He could get caught off guard. He could die. He doesn't know what's up there. He's going off of legends, and that is the most non-Odysseus thing that he could do. Like, it's not strategically sound, but I bet he could tell you exactly why it's the smartest idea ever. I just think he's deceiving himself. But his good friend, his brother-in-law, as you all told me in the comments, he can see that he's not like himself. He's been changed or distorted.
Your life or piss off this God and infuse us with strife. Don't
Piss off this god is a little weird for me. Like, that's kind of an anachronistic phrasing, and it stands out to me. Anachronistic meaning you have something in a time period that it shouldn't be, and piss off kind of sounds like modern language. I think it's a stylistic thing. Like, you have musicals like Six that's just full of it. But Six fully embraces it, and this, for the most part, has steered away from it. It doesn't totally work for me, but I have a hunch with how much it stands out that that's going to come back. Yeah, because it sticks out so much to me. Piss off is coming back. We're bringing piss back, fellas and ladies, and anyone else out there who's watching. We're bringing piss back. Okay, wow. This is a sad, serious song. Let's watch.
strive. Don't forget how dangerous the gods are.
Have faith, friend, we've come this far.
Yes, but how much longer till your luck runs out?
Okay, so they're directly addressing this. Odysseus is saying, I'm fine. Like, the gods aren't going to hurt me. Like, I've been fine till now. Haven't died yet. Won't die now. But they're directly calling him out. How much longer can this continue? Because he's acting off of his own impulses now. He was working with the help of Eurylochus and I keep wanting to say Polites, but now it's very much what I say goes, and I think it's going to become more like that. Yeah. How much longer till his luck runs out? I'm really curious. I have a feeling it's not going to be long.
How much longer till the show goes south? How much longer till we all fall down? You rely on wind and people die on it. Whoa.
So I find myself agreeing with Eurylochus here, but I want to take a step back and analyze what I'm feeling, because I'm curious, is Eurylochus speaking like the ultimate truth here, of like a mouthpiece for Jorge, of what Jorge wants us to know here? Or is this a distorted character's view where it's not representative of the ultimate truth that's going on here? He does rely on wit. He has been relying on his wit. People have died, but without that wit, they would have all been manipulated by the lotus fruit. Without that wit, they would have had an army of Cyclopses after them. Or without that wit, they would have killed the Cyclops right in front of the entryway and not been able to get out. So I'm glad I took a step back, because I think that this is a bit more nuanced than I was thinking. I don't think that this is just Jorge telling us what to believe. I think this is Eurylochus saying something that's almost true, but doesn't fully encapsulate the full picture. And it's because everyone on this ship, everyone in this storm, they're all going through it. Like, everyone is feeling this.
I still believe in goodness. I still believe that we could be kind. Lead from the heart and see what starts.
And what
Okay,
do we do?
so he's talking like Polites, but I don't know. Like, it feels like he's invoking Polites' ideology, but only when it's convenient. He's not actually changing. This is just bolstering what he was going to do anyway. So he's almost co-opting it. Like, he's almost using the grief as a tool to be like, hey, think of our friend. What would he do? He would agree with me. He would lead from his heart. But he's not leading from his heart. Well, he is. It's just a damaged heart. Like, he's deeply hurt. I think on a surface level, this would easily read as he's taken Polites into his heart and is he's taken Polites into his heart, and he's really internalizing his philosophy and trying to hold on to whatever's left. But I think it's a bit more cynical than that, if I'm being totally honest. I think that I think that he's using polities when it's convenient. And I think if I said that to Odysseus, he would be horrified and deny it to the nail. Like, I don't think he knows that he's doing it, but I think that's what's happening on a narrative level. And if that's the case, that's showing a willingness to use even his closest friends to further his own means. And I would suspect that's going to come back in the future. All right, let's keep going.
Lead from the heart and see what starts.
And what will we do when it tears us apart?
Where is this coming from, my friend?
You know exactly where it's coming from. So that, I feel like that cements it a little bit, where, like, he's talking to someone who is also Polites' close friend, and he's so hurt. I was going to say self-absorbed, but I think the truth is he's so hurt that he can't see even where some of the people that are closest to him are hurting at the same time. He's prioritizing his own pain over the pain of his friends and his men.
I just don't want to see another life end. You're like the brother I could never do without.
And suddenly you doubt that I could figure this out.
Captain.
Oh, he's upset. He's saying, just trust me, bro. Like, I got it. And that's such a contrast with how he listened to Polites and Full Speed Ahead. Something has changed, and that something has, like, it was definitely Polites' death and the death of his men and that whole situation with the Cyclops. He's hardening and he's isolating. He's becoming an island.
And how much longer till your luck runs out? How much longer till the show goes south? How much longer till we all fall down? You rely on it and people die on it. Whoa, how?
So sorry, ADHD moment. I was still thinking about what I just said and I missed that. We are a neurodivergent friendly channel. Let's watch again.
Till we all fall down. You rely how much longer till the show goes south? How much longer till we all fall down? You rely on it and people die on.
All fall down sticks out to me. Why? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. It's very mundane. Like, falling down isn't that bad unless you can't get back up. And, like, what they should be worried about is, like, he's saying people are dying. But then he's using something as mundane as falling down. I can't totally put into words why that sticks out to me. Maybe they're just trying to hold on to whatever they can, and even small things feel big to them, but to me that feels like I'm reading into it a little bit too much. Yeah, these are some wonky subtitles.
Whoa, how much longer till the snake breaks free? How much longer till your great day sees? How much longer till your strength takes leave? You rely on wit and people die on it. Whoa.
You rely on wit, people die on it. It's such a good line. We're gonna listen to that one more time.
Strength takes leave. How much longer till the snake breaks free? How much longer till your
Snake.
great day sees?
What's the snake? Have we heard the snake before? Or is that a new metaphor? I think that's a new metaphor. Oh, no. This day you sever your own head, I feel like is a snake-like reference. People talk about killing snakes by beheading them a lot. I'm getting too into the weeds. Okay, I want to just enjoy this.
How much longer till your strength takes leave? You rely on wit and people die on it. Whoa.
He's gonna dismiss
Thank you
him.
for the concern, but brother, I can assure you,
He's doing it in front of all of
our
his men there.
journey is almost done. I understand that we're tired, I understand that we're phased. But don't forget how much we've already faced. I took 600 men to war, and not one of them died there.
He's taking credit for none of them dying, which to some level is the achievement of a commander. But also, there's 600 men who fought. And he's taking that on him. While he's also deflecting the fact that... Maybe he's about to mention it. But deflecting the fact that he just lost Polites and he just lost the other men in the cave. And that they were barely getting by before that because they didn't have food. So he's not he's not as faultless as he thinks he is in his own head. He's just hurting so much, and you can feel it in every sentence.
And not one of them died there. In case you needed a reminder, if you'd like to speak more, let me pull you aside then. I need to talk to you in private.
Okay, that's really appropriate, I think. Like, I think that's him being a good leader. He doesn't want a mutiny. Like, he can't risk having Eurylochus question him in front of everyone, if the animatic is accurate. Because Eurylochus speaking out against him is both concerning because it's showing a division in the team, but it's also different than how we saw him in Full Speed Ahead. So they're both actively changing. And I suspect we're about to get a whole lot of deflection, a whole lot of trust me, bro, a whole lot of I've got everything taken care of. What's wrong with you? Just trust me. I'm great. Things are going to work out. Why are you doubting? Just have faith in me. Almost like he's deifying himself. Like trying to make himself like the gods, which he just lost. Oh, this is so interesting.
Can't have you planting seeds of doubt. I can't have you disagreeing each route. I need you to always be devout.
Oh.
Comply with this, or we'll all die in this.
Devout is such an interesting word choice. That says so much. He's seeing himself, like devout is normally very religiously associated. He's seeing himself as this divine figure now that Athena has been removed from his life. He's saying, I can just do it myself. This isn't actually about him being offended. I think this is about control. This is just him posturing again and taking control. Oh, buddy, why?
Okay.
I know why. He's hurting.
Okay.
Thank you.
He sounds so done with him. Like, finally, what's wrong with you? Thank you, gosh. Oh, this is getting so interesting. He's just spiraling. He's spiraling, and he's going to keep spiraling because he's not reaching out for help to get through this storm, literally and figuratively. Like, he is reaching out to higher powers. Like, he's going to this island, but I bet he's not taking his men there, and I bet that he's not going to care what they say. This is a story of someone who is so hurt and traumatized and grieving and is trying to handle it alone. And I think it's going to be a story of what happens when you try to handle stuff like that by yourself and power through it. Let me know if I'm reading into it too much, but I think that's what's happening here. All right, next song. Keep Your Friends Close by Gigi. Trigger warning for Flash. Didn't take his men. Made it to the island by himself. He left everyone down there while he elevated himself.
Great wind god Aeolus.
Aeolus, okay, I'll remember that.
If you know this, but our path to home is blocked by an impenetrable storm.
He's acting so humble.
I ask for your assistance so we at last can go the distance. Can you cast the perfect winds for us and aid our journey home?
Why does he think that this god would care?
So we at last can go.
He lost Athena and he's trying to replace her. Or maybe he's not trying to replace her. He's just trying to do it. I can't put it into words quite yet. I bet I'll figure it out as we go.
The distance. Can you cast the perfect winds for us and aid our journey home?
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Twisting and turning, I give the fire enough to stay burning.
Oh, that's interesting. Give the fire enough to stay burning. Fire can protect, but it can also destroy. And we've seen Odysseus talk about fire in the context of destruction, in terms of burning down the Lotus Eater Island. I think that's subtle foreshadowing that she isn't as trustworthy as he is hoping her to be. That she could help him, but she could also make things go to crap real fast and get out of control. This is so good. This is so good.
That's what I'm serving, and if you win, you will get what you're yearning.
Don't accept the game.
Take a look right here at this
Okay,
bag.
he's playing with gods. He's playing with fire. He's playing with fire. He's so self-confident. He's so determined to do this himself that he thinks he can outplay the gods. And my hunch with how she's animated, or with how he's animated and how he's singing, I think it's a he. Aeolus. I think that he just cares about... I think he just wants to see what happens.
You will get what you're yearning. Take a look right here at this bag.
Dang, Odysseus.
It has the winds of the storm all trapped.
The wind bag from SpongeBob. It's here. SpongeBob the movie. They turned it into a thing. Imagine, though. Like, imagine if I really thought that's what it was from. There's got to be, like, some reactor out there somewhere who thought that this was actually from the SpongeBob movie. And was like, I can't believe it. Like, SpongeBob's cultural influence is phenomenal. It's so powerful. Okay, I'm getting off topic. Back to the writing. All you got to do is not open this bag. This bag is opening. Let's be honest. We've seen SpongeBob.
All you gotta do is not open this bag.
Sounds too easy, what's the catch?
I like the ha ha ha. Sounds too easy, what's the catch? He's still Odysseus. Like, he's still him. He's still analyzing everything anytime he's faced with a problem. He's just doing it from this deep place of hurt right now, where he's distorted.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Never really know who you can trust. If they wanna get the bag open, you gotta say no, sir. Sometimes killing is a must.
What? Okay. Is she saying that he has to kill his friends? Let me think about this. Sorry, this might be a more subdued one, because I'm really trying to internalize this. This musical is getting so interesting, and the reason it interests me is because I feel like you can watch through the musical at speed, taking in what it says at face value, and have a totally different read than if you step back and try to think about, like... I think everyone here is an unreliable narrator. Never really know who you can trust. So, Aeolus is just planting division here. He wants Odysseus to not trust his crew. Okay. Why? I think just because it's fun. Maybe I'll find out. Some...
Never really know who you can trust. If they wanna get the bag open, you gotta say no, sir. Sometimes killing is a must.
What?
'Cause the end always justifies the
Oh.
means. Friends turn to foes in rivalry, so
This is interesting. So, the ends always justify the means. It's a very utilitarian approach. But it's very against what polities stood for. And I think that it's more in line with who Odysseus is. I think Odysseus, on his face, is saying polities philosophy, but I think this is going to resonate with him more. I think he's going to have this deep distrust of his own men, where they would have been totally fine had he not tempted the gods. But because they have this distrust, I think it's... We already know they're starting not to trust him, because Eurylochus is talking openly against him, even if it's well-intentioned. And we already have seen his frustration with his people, so Aeolus is just turning this into a shit show. Forgive my language. Look at that smile.
keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Never really know who you can trust.
You can't trust Aeolus, that's for sure.
Captain, what's happening? What's trapped in that
He's not
bag?
telling them.
Something dangerous, friends, we mustn't lie.
It's treasure.
What? Those little craps. Okay, so Aeolus is just trying to cause chaos and plant division and see what happens because he's bored and he wants to see something burn. He's fueling the fire, like he said. He told Odysseus, "Be careful who you trust," and sure enough, can't trust can't trust him. Wow, the nerve of saying it's treasure. Because they already don't trust him. They might believe if Odysseus denies this, but that seed of doubt is there. And that's just gonna grow.
Open the bag. Let's see what you
They're
got.
so excited.
Everybody listen closely.
Just tell them.
See how this bag is closed, that's how it's supposed to be. This bag has the storm inside.
Okay, so he does tell them.
Let the treasure rumor fly.
Okay. But he wasn't forthright with what it was until someone had already put forth a theory. If he had been open with his men, led with open arms, like actually embracing Polites' philosophy, and said, look, this is exactly what happened, they might be more receptive, but I don't think this is going to go well. I think that bag is opening. And I think... I was going to say either they're going to kill Odysseus or he's going to kill them. But I don't think that he wouldn't kill them, and they can't kill him because we need to have a story. Maybe he would kill them.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh, I hate Aeolus, and I love it.
So they can have closure.
Sneaking is a must. Oh,
Always justifies the means.
yeah. Everyone on the ship, everyone in the storm, everyone's going through this. Everything's changed. No one trusts each other the same way. He was really the heart of this group. He was like their guiding light. And with Polites gone, they don't have that balance. They don't have the balance to the cynicism. And Odysseus is trying, but it's all face value. Okay.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
They're not getting home.
For 9 days I've stayed wide awake trying to make it.
Oh my
home.
gosh.
No storm or tidal wave.
9 days. That he does not trust his friends. He doesn't trust his men anymore. He's not listening to them. He didn't think, like, unless I'm missing something in the myth, he didn't even trust them to sleep. He didn't even trust Eurylochus to watch it. And I bet he's going to turn this as them not trusting him or something else going wrong. But he is deeply wounded and not trusting the people that care about him the most. And this is what happens when you push through grief. Is things are going to backfire. Everything is going to go to shit. I know it is.
I remain unopposed, the bag is still closed.
Even unopposed, he's viewing himself as like this deity.
I can't wait to make some new memories.
Oh, the obscuring of the face is obscuring the face is a nice detail. Time for me to be the father I never was. I believe him that he thinks that's his motivation. But I think he wants Penelope and he wants Telemachus. He does love them, but more than that, they represent safety. Like, there's something that's stable that he can control. Not saying that he's controlling to them, but it's a controlled element of his life when he's in a storm and everything is so unstable.
Just keep your eyes open. Why are my eyes and my heart and my soul so?
Because you've been awake for 9 days.
Keep your eyes open. I keep on trying to embrace you both. Why won't you let just keep your eyes open? So much has changed, but I'm the same. Yes, I'm the same. Just keep your
Okay, actually, that's interesting. So much has changed, but I'm the same. He's repeating that. The repetition that Jorge does here lets us know, like, he's a little insecure about it. He's trying to convince himself that he's the same. I don't think that he believes he's the same. I think he's changed, that he believes that he's corrupted. But if we look at his actions throughout, he's always been self-serving. He's always put his own people before others. He's always had this high self-image. When you look at how he interacted with Athena, even back when he was a teenager. So I think he is the same. I think he's just hurting. I think he's just in a distorted state where he's grieving. He's actively in so much grief and pain. But I think he's right, even though he's trying to convince himself. I think he is the same. Grief doesn't change who we are fundamentally. It just removes it like removes our supports, and it can amplify certain traits. So good.
Wake up. Wake up. Odysseus, they're opening the bag. Wake up!
Oh, don't act so concerned. This is exactly what you wanted, Aeolus. This is exactly what he wanted. The whole time. He set everything in motion. This is his fault. This is what happened when you play with the gods. He's playing with fire. Oh my gosh. No one trusts you. Like, no one's reaching out for support. No. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't trust Aeolus.
Where's the storm taking us?
I said to keep the bag closed, but you weren't compliant. If I had
I hate him. I hate him so much. Oh my gosh! They were so close.
But sir, it's too late. We can save whatever wind is left to use another day.
Even in a time of emergency, Eurylochus is pushing back now. They're just so divided.
Help me close the bag. But sir, it's too late. We can save whatever wind is left to use another day. Come on.
Like, he ultimately listens, but he pushed back when it mattered most.
Odysseus of Ithaca.
Someone knows his name.
Do you know who I am?
Someone who would know his name. I almost said it's the Cyclops. That's significant that someone knows his name. Alright, next is Ruthlessness. That's the last in the saga. This is my favorite saga so far. I feel like it's saying so much about these characters and just showing how affected they are by everything that's happened. Like, far and away, this is my favorite. The songs aren't necessarily my favorite. Watch this be my favorite song. But the story is so compelling. And the characters are so compelling. And they're not, like, clean cut. This is by Annie Flamma. Poseidon. Oh, and it's leading with his name. Whoa.
Poseidon. In all my years
So-
of living, it isn't very often that I get pissed off. I try to chill.
We're bringing Pissed back. I told you it's coming back. So that's a direct confirmation that Eurylochus was right. It feels so significant to me that they're leading with their names. We led with Odysseus' name, something that he only revealed to the Cyclops. And we led with Poseidon's name 7 times. Wow, okay. What does this mean? What does this mean? Because this feels significant, and I will be embarrassed if I miss it. It's like he's taunting him. He's saying, look what I know about you. You kept this so close to your chest. Look who I am. Like, look how great I am. You're not nearly as good as you think you are. I'm amazing. I feel like that's what it's saying here.
Poseidon. In all my years of living, it isn't very often that I get pissed
I don't
off.
buy that.
I try to chill with the waves, but damn, you crossed the line.
Is it the Cyclops?
I've been so great.
Whoa! Hold up a dang second. That animation, the water arm.
I've been so gracious.
Okay.
And yet you hurt the son of mine.
The Cyclops
That's right.
is,
The
yeah.
Cyclops you made blind is mine.
I'd ask who the mother was, but I'm not sure that I want to know. Poseidon is on a quest for his son, just like Odysseus is. They're both leading with their names. I feel like they're mirroring each other in an interesting way so far. Like, just like Odysseus did with the Cyclops, but more directly. Another thing that was interesting to me is, let's see, he's been so gracious. He thinks he's been gracious, but the seas have been rough. I guess they haven't for the last few days, but they were rough. He's so self-aggrandizing, so self-important, that he sees Odysseus's mere survival as evidence of his providence. That he's so gracious just because he let Odysseus live and travel on his seas. Like, he's that sure of himself. How do you beat Poseidon, though? What's he going to do? I'll tell you what he's not going to do. He's not going to rely on his men. I bet that.
That's right. The Cyclops you made blind is mine. No. I'm left without a choice and without a doubt. Yes, the back of wolves is swimming with the shark now.
I am geeking out over this animation and this guy's voice. Holy crap, it's amazing. Okay, this is my favorite song. There's something I was going to say. Oh my gosh, this is so good. It's so creative. Okay, I'm left without a choice and without a doubt. Is that it?
Left without a choice and without a...
How much like Odysseus does that sound? He's deflecting. He's making it sound like he has no other option. This is what he's going to do, and he's doubtless. He knows what's best. This is... my working theory is that this whole saga is about Odysseus's grief, and Poseidon is a direct dark mirror of Odysseus.
Yes, the back of wolves is swimming with the shark now.
Even that metaphor is telling. The pack of wolves is swimming with the shark. They're a pack. He doesn't see Odysseus as any better than anyone else. They're all beneath him. And they're swimming with the shark. Wolves in the water, they don't stand a chance against a shark. But you put that shark on land, things could be different. So I think he's saying you've fallen to a place where you're just helpless. I have complete control over you. And control is exactly what Odysseus is looking for.
I gotta make you bleed. I need to see you drown.
Oh, this is so... it's so cool, the animation. I can't get over it. Oh my gosh, I'm getting distracted from the story by how amazing this is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I've got to make you bleed. I need to see you drown. He wants him to have a slow death. The song's called Ruthlessness, and it fits. But at the same time, he's doing what Odysseus did. He's not killing Odysseus off right away. He's giving a speech. And that's what Odysseus did.
I need to see you drown, but before
Yeah,
you go,
see?
I need to make you learn how ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves.
That's an incredible line. Just incredible writing. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. It's a philosophy that I think is really going to resonate with Odysseus, and I think it already does. Because the reason I think it's going to resonate is it allows him to deflect the consequences of his actions. And we've seen that he's someone who doesn't face that. He's too hurt to, he can't. He presents so strong, and he's so broken.
You are the worst kind of good, 'cause you're not even great.
Oh, this animation!
A Greek who reeks of false righteousness, that's what I hate.
Poseidon sees right through him. Because he is him. Not literally is him, but he's a mirror to him. You're the worst kind of good because you're not even great. He's seeing this potential in him. He's like, you could be more, but you're not. And you won't be. You're self-righteous. You think you're doing these great things, but it's false. You're acting like you're merciful, but I know you because I am you, and you're being ruthless. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
A Greek who reeks of false righteousness, that's what I hate. 'Cause you fight to save lives, but won't kill and don't get the job done.
That's not true. That's not true. Because we've seen Odysseus kill. He's killed a baby. He killed the people of Troy. He's been in a war for 10 years. He was willing to kill the island of Lotus Eaters if the thing didn't go according to plan. But that all changed when Polites died. when he didn't kill because he wanted it to sting. And that moment, when he wanted it to sting, when he wanted to hurt others, that's when he's aligned with Poseidon. We're seeing this dark side of him.
I mean, you totally could have avoided all this had you just killed my son. But no.
Okay, yeah, that cements it. This is about ego for Poseidon. He doesn't care about his son. What father would say that? What father could possibly say that cares about their son? You could have avoided this if you just killed him. Poseidon is posturing. He's concerned about his ego. He's concerned about how he'll look if he doesn't make an example out of Odysseus, and he doesn't want to be soft. They're so similar.
You are far too nice. Mercy has a price. It's the final crack. We're about to break the ice now. You reveal your name, then you.
That's cute. Okay, we're about to break the ice, and then with an icebreaker, he talks about him revealing his name. That's just a fun little detail. Like it was an icebreaker. You're far too nice. Mercy has a price. He wasn't being nice. The exact moment that he's referring to is when Odysseus was arguably at his cruelest. Because with the baby, that was monstrous, but he had a reason. And he had a god telling him to do it. In this case, he had a god directly telling him not to do it.
Mercy has a price. It's the final crack. We're about to break the ice now. You reveal your name, then you let him live. Unlike you, I've got no mercy left to give.
Oh my gosh. I have actual chills. I have actual chills from this animation and these lyrics. Unlike you, I have no mercy left to give. And they're both denying that they're like each other.
This is mercy upon ourselves. Ruthlessness is mercy upon ourselves. And now it is finally time to say
He's procrastinating so much. He's drawing this out because he wants to see him hurt. He's doing the exact thing that Odysseus was doing. I keep saying that, but it's just so striking. Unless you apologize for my son's pains and all his cries, he's not apologizing. No shot is he apologizing. He's too egotistical. He's going to make it sound like he's apologizing, but I guarantee we're not hearing the words "I'm sorry" come out of his mouth. He's going to rationalize and he's going to deflect because that's what Odysseus does, because he's hurting so bad.
Yes, of course you apologize for my son's pain and all his cries.
Oh my gosh.
Poseidon, we meant no harm, we only
Yeah,
hurt
not
him
apologizing.
to disarm him. We took no pleasure in his pain. We only wanted to escape.
Eurylochus wanted to escape. He said run, and Odysseus flat out said no, because he wanted to take pleasure in the pain. He wanted to stay, and he wanted to see what happened. They had an avenue where they could have gotten out. He is lying to himself, and he's lying to Poseidon. Oh, this is so good.
The line between naivety and hopefulness is almost invisible, so close.
I'm sorry for pausing so much, but that line is incredible. Oh my gosh, that line is so good.
The line between naivety and hopefulness is almost invisible, so close your heart.
When did we see Odysseus at his most hopeful and naive? I'd argue it's been in this saga, right before everything went south, when he was daydreaming about Penelope and Telemachus. So close your heart, the world is darkness, or dark and ruthless is mercy. This is Poseidon's song, but this is Odysseus's villain song. Not villain song, but it's the song about, oh my gosh, this is so interesting.
The world is dark and ruthlessness is die.
My heart is beating so fast that my watch just gave me a notification. Oh my gosh. How does he come back from that? He's gone through so much loss that his men were begging for him while they drowned. And did he spare... He made... I guess we'll find out. I think he made Odysseus watch this. He didn't try to kill him yet.
What have you done? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? 43 left.
And a reference back to 43. He started with 600. Oh my gosh. And look at this. Okay, so when does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does a man become a monster? We're hearing that as Poseidon kills, but we heard that the first time that we saw Odysseus kill. They really, really do mirror each other.
Does a man become
Like, it's so direct. Oh, this animation. That's exactly what Odysseus said. And that's telling, because Poseidon wasn't there to hear Odysseus say that. He wasn't present, and I don't think that he's omnipresent where he's just going to hear everything everywhere all at once. I love that movie. I think this is showing their natures are so similar that they draw the same conclusions based off of things that happen. I don't think this is a, look what you said, I'm turning it back at you. I think this is a, our souls are so aligned that I'm saying the same things you are. We're making the same points. You think I'm monstrous, but you're just as bad. Oh my gosh.
The monster that always draws near.
And he's embracing the fact that he's the monster.
Any last words?
All I gotta do is open this bag.
What? Even that's reckless. He's not facing the consequences of what he did. And he shouldn't. I want him to get out of this. But this is thematic too. Oh, this is so cool.
Remember.
Remember me. He's a direct mirror of Odysseus. And that's what the saga has all been about. Oh my gosh. This saga has been about Odysseus and the storm inside of him. And how he's being corrupted. He's turning into a dark version of himself. Or, I don't think he's really changing, but I think Odysseus would say that he's changing. I think what's happening is we're seeing this version of him distort what's already there. And that Poseidon represents exactly that. He represents what happens when you give into all of these dark impulses, and he shows the other side of this. Poseidon represents someone who's willing to kill mercilessly, and who's willing to make it hurt and make it sting, all based off of ego, but he's showing the same fatal flaw as Odysseus, where Odysseus got away because Poseidon wanted to make it hurt because his ego was getting in the way. He took his time with him. He was toying with him like a cat and a mouse. Oh my gosh. It can't be over. Oh my gosh. How did you all do this when it wasn't finished? Because I know that this just barely finished, this musical. How did you all make it in between sagas? This was so good. This was the best written saga so far. And it's not even close. Like, the others have laid the groundwork, but the symbolism and the meaning and Poseidon's dang voice, and this animatic is the best I've seen. Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, everything about this. I hope this isn't boring for you. I don't have the words. I genuinely don't know what to say. And I don't... how long have I been recording? You're not going to believe that I don't know what to say. An hour and 4 minutes. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. This is so good. And I could just sit here saying this is so good for another 10 minutes. Oh, all right. Next is the Underworld Saga, I think. Or maybe there's one more before the Underworld Saga. I know the general names of the sagas. It's not going to be the Ithaca Saga because that just came out. So I guess I don't even know what's coming next, but I'm so excited to find out. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in seeing my own writing, I'm going to have more on that in the coming months. The one I'm going to be publishing first is the fantasy revenge novel. That is kind of along these lines of like, when does a man become a monster? Oh my gosh, this is just so good. This is just so good.